Welcome to Trinidad and Tobago to our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Nicola Barreto. Let's take a look at the headlines. The Ministry of Planning and Sustainable Development and other non-state agencies meet to discuss utilizing funds in an effective manner. The EMA launches its new campaign, the Beverage Container Cleaner Project. And Chief Secretary of the THA warns persons not to become complacent with HIV, even though it's no longer a death sentence. Thank you for joining us. Grants provided under the European Agreement to Trinidad and Tobago focuses on development of civil society and innovation. Stakeholders involved include the Ministry of Planning and Sustainable Development, as well as other non-state agencies, and they met to discuss utilizing these funds in the most effective manner during a consultation forum held at Capitol Plaza.
The European Union's partnership with Trinidad and Tobago facilitates a number of support initiatives targeting development at all national levels. Working in tandem with the EU is the Ministry of Planning and Sustainable Development. In hosting its stakeholder consultation, several plenary group sessions were held to get feedback on managing the funding received through key business solutions offered by the EU. In recent months, over $120 million in funding was provided for the establishing of the Sugar Protocol, diversification away from the sugar industry. Outlining the agenda for the consultation, Deputy Permanent Secretary of the Planning and Sustainable Development Ministry, Clint Ramcharan, says the program seeks to ensure economic competitiveness through innovation is established within these targeted projects involving civil society or non-state actors and NSAs.
The purpose of this project is to start the process of building and promoting the importance of innovation and inventions on a national level, which in turn will result in improved competitiveness. 2013 represents the second year of this program.
The current programming cycle is known as the 10th EDF, which focuses on support to economic transition with special emphasis on innovation. Under this multi-annual indicative program 2014 to 2020, focus is placed on civil society and the environment, as these areas offer opportunity for trade and business, tackling crime and security, human rights and governance, while environment offers eco-friendly innovation policies and research. Planning and Sustainable Development Minister Dr. Bo Tiwari says innovation can only be facilitated through setting up of a tailored framework.
Do you think sustainable development, which requires the balance between economic growth and prosperity, social and cultural respect, and peaceful development, and environmental conservation practices, do you think that can be achieved without innovation? You could set up the framework. But in order to create sustainable development in any sphere, in any geographical sphere, you have to have innovative thinking. That is why at Kariri we're working with the World Bank to establish, and we've gotten $3.5 million for it, a Center for Innovation Results in climate change related issues.
Establishing these frameworks can only be done through proper consultation with those in direct receipt of the funding and projects. Chargé d'Affaires at the EU delegation, Daniela Tramache, says facilitating dialogue is critical to the effectiveness of each program.
Trinidad and Tobago high income status, coupled with the general policy of development assistance agencies to focus on less developed countries, means that this country does not qualify for grant assistance from most of the other developmental agencies. Still, Trinidad and Tobago will be granted by the European Union almost €10 million for the next planning period of our cooperation cycle, which is starting next year and will go up to 20, as I mentioned.
However, certain factors can affect a country's progress, from population growth to the number of persons enrolled in tertiary education programs. Minister Tiwari says these are factors the ministry is tackling while at the same time ensuring economic growth.
While we have the aging problem and the lack of growth of the population because of the birth rate, and we have a challenge because we need resources in order to develop it, we have an economy that is not diversifying fast enough or evolving in value chain terms fast enough to absorb to the level of satisfaction required 5,000 people coming out of the tertiary education system every year. So we have to find a way of dealing with that too, and that is part of the challenge that we need to do. So we need to bring all of these resources together to address some of the issues of innovation and development in the country.
The partnership agreement between the EU and the development partner is known as the Cotonou Agreement 2000 to 2020. Kimberam Kalawan, News 4.
The Environmental Management Authority launched its new campaign, the Beverage Container Cleanup Project. This event symbolizes a new coalition between the EMA and stakeholders involved in this cleanup project, particularly the beverage manufacturers.
The EMA says we can all agree that environment requires urgent protection against our own discriminate practices. This project will not only address the issue of cleanup of beverage containers across the country, but will inspire positive attitudes towards environmental conservation, protection and sustainability. On Saturday, 21st of September, staff of the EMA, along with civil society groups, participated in a beach cleanup on Shakashakari Island. Although they collected 886 pounds of plastic, mainly beverage containers, there was still a significant amount of litter left on the island.
This act of littering impacts on wildlife species, particularly our sea turtles. At Shakashakari, carcasses of sea turtles were found as a result of their nesting sites being bombarded by debris, mainly comprising of beverage containers, forcing them to seek alternative nesting sites in dangerous locations.
Improper disposal of beverage containers, in particular non-biodegradable plastics, impact negatively on both the economy and the environment. Mr. Derenarayan shared with the audience the role the CPEP company will play in the Beverage Containers Cleanup Project.
The Beverage Containers Cleanup Project allows the CPEP Company Limited to further enforce its mandate and reduce the volume of litter produced by beverage containers on a daily basis. The project is aimed at removing existing disposed beverage containers from the environment over a 6-month period.
Entertainment was also one tool used in educating the public about the issue. This catchy chutney song about environmental stewardship earned first place in the Environmental Song Competition 2011.
Have a little mercy. Everywhere you turn is garbage wrong the place. Everywhere you turn, they messing up the place. Illegal dumping, pollution in we face. Stop this littering, stop this big disgrace. Trinidad and Tobago, show love for your country. Trinidad and Tobago, have a little mercy.
Minister of Water Resources Ganga Singh says the Beverage Container Bill 2013 will be laid in the Parliament in this new session for debate and approval.
My ministry has decided to actively pursue the enforcement of the necessary legislation to rescue the environment, be it the Beverage Containers Bill or the recently imposed hunting moratorium.
The effecting of the Beverage Containers Bill, he says, will certainly have long-term ramifications, not only economic, social and entrepreneurial, but will serve as a driver for effecting the cultural changes to disposal practices made in Trinidad and Tobago. So how will the public feel about an initiative such as this? We sought to get some answers.
I have maintained that the cry has really come from the public. We have had a very strong NGO and CBO element and environmental groups in Trinidad and Tobago. And through the schools, through programs such as Plastic Keep, which was also funded by the Green Fund, we have begun that element of environmental consciousness.
Some will be for it, some will be against it because they wouldn't be taking it on, but I hope that the majority will take it on seriously.
I think they need a very aggressive public awareness strategy and campaign. People may think it's another initiative of the government and EMA, but they need to make a difference somehow.
Joseph Lopez, News 4.
When we come back, the THA warns Tobagonians not to be complacent with HIV. HIV/AIDS cases in Tobago are increasing according to President of FOTUS, and the cases are starting at a very young age, while the Chief Secretary of the THA warns persons not to become complacent with the disease, even though it's no longer a death sentence.
At the recently held Friends of the Tobago AIDS Society FOTUS Walk on Republic Day, President of the Society, Marcia Washington Frank, revealed that the cases of HIV/AIDS in Tobago are increasing. But what was even more startling was the fact that, according to her, the age of infection in Tobago starts at 14 years. Questioned on the state of HIV/AIDS in Tobago, Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly, Mr. Orville London, expressed great concern at the news.
There seems to be a comfort level now that it is no longer seen as a death sentence. And as we have improved in care and treatment, the prevention aspects and the control aspects, those aspects seem to have taken second place.
Mr. London said even at the walk, some of the points made by those who gave remarks are very critical, and emphasized that it is all about the attitude one has towards the disease, but most of all, their health.
It is about lifestyle and not taking responsibility for one's own welfare.
He said the annual walk should not be looked at as just a walk, but it should serve as a reminder for Tobagonians to reflect on the adverse effects of the disease once contracted. He also reminded Tobagonians that although HIV/AIDS is no longer seen as a death sentence, it does affect one's quality of life. Secretary of Health and Social Services Mrs. Claudia Groom-Duke, in response to the astonishing news, admitted that she was not certain on the current data of HIV/AIDS cases in Tobago, but gave the assurance that she will review the latest statistics and update the public in the most efficient manner. She stated, however, that work will continue where prevention and care is concerned to deal with those who might be at risk and those who have already been diagnosed with the disease. She shared similar sentiments with the Chief Secretary when she said that people's behavior and mindset must change regarding sex, as there are many harmful sexually transmitted diseases among persons. The Health Secretary assured that her division is working assiduously on primary health care, which includes HIV and AIDS. Reporting from Tobago, Patricia Nicholson, News 4.
Meanwhile, no beachfront facility. This is a constant cry by the villagers of Charlottesville, Tobago, to a proposed beachfront mall to be built by the Tobago House of Assembly. Patricia Nicholson tells us more.
In preparation for the construction of the building, many vendors' booths were demolished, with some of them being put out of business on a temporary basis, according to the THA. But this did not settle well with the vendors, who totally opposed to such a facility which replaces many historical shops and landmarks in Charlottesville.
This has been done with very, very little consultation with the local people, despite what others may wish to convince you of. It is only through court action that we actually saw the plans and found out the details, the kind of details you would expect to be presented via consultation, not through the force of the law.
Because of the stern action taken by the Charlottesville beachfront movement, the construction has been deemed illegal.
There has been no CEC, that's the Certificate of Environmental Clearance, from the EMA for the project. So the project is illegal. Despite that, the developer, on the instructions we understand of the THA, continued with the project for a period thereafter, creating a hazard in the area, a massive hole about 45 feet long by about 30 feet wide.
They have also expressed that they do not feel secure, as they won't guarantee a spot in the building proposed to be constructed by the THA. Meantime, the Minister of Tobago Development, Dr. Delman Baker, who toured the area recently and met with the villagers, joined with them in disagreement for the construction.
This is not defending. This is putting the heritage of Charlottesville and Charlottesville's people at risk. simply cannot agree with such a project.
Minister Baker said development must occur, but proper consultation must be held with those who will be directly affected by it, so as to prevent problems with such persons.
The THA must take a step back from this project, must ensure that it gets all the legal requirements first, and then must go to consult with the people on the nature and on the scope of this project before it moves forward.
The minister intends to address a letter to the Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly, Mr. Orville London, with the hopes of meeting with him to address matters affecting the Charlottesville residents. For now, the space remains vacant. Reporting from Tobago, Patricia Nicholson, News 4.
Sport is up right after the break. Stay with us. The West Indies have seen back-to-back wins, but not from the same team. The Windies women and the under-19 boys have both recorded wins in their ongoing series, with Trinidadians playing a large role in each victory.
Marissa Aguilera captained the West Indies women's cricket team to an 89-run win over New Zealand, while her junior male counterpart Jeremy Solozano scored 27 as the West Indies under-19s beat Bangladesh by 6 wickets. The win for the Windies women sees them level the 3-match one-day international series taking place in Jamaica at 1 apiece. Windies women won the toss and chose to bat, but ruined a good start and lost 5 wickets for just 18 runs as the team moved from 72 for 2 to 90 for 7. 17-year-old Shaquana Quintin and Shakira Selman put up a battle to the end to contribute a 9th wicket 43-run stand to place the Windies at 148 all out after their 50 overs. Aguilera's team reduced New Zealand to 32 for 7 by the 17th over, Aguilera leading from behind the stump as she caught out 3 of New Zealand's players, with Quintin the bowler for 2 of those wickets. Fellow Trinidadian Anissa Mohammed did her part to contribute, bowling a maiden over and taking 1 wicket in the process. Meanwhile, Jeremy Solozano helped the Windies under-19 team to secure a victory over Bangladesh's under-19s in the first ODI in Guyana. The current WICB Weeper Under-19 Cricketer of the Year scored the second highest for the Windies with 27 runs, while Jamaican Leroy Lugg top-scored with 69. Bangladesh amassed 135 all-out after 46 overs. Solozano was eventually stumped out, but did just enough to allow the young Windies to reach their target in just 35 overs. The Windies Under-19s lead the 7-match series 1-0. Gregory McBurney, News 4 Sports.
Trinidad and Tobago Olympic sailor Andrew Lewis has officially launched his website. The site, www.andrelewissailing.com, gives the Olympian the opportunity to connect with supporters and contains detailed information on Lewis. Fans and supporters can find information on Lewis, such as the events he plans to take part in, some history on his personal life, his views through his blog, information on the sailing camps he puts on, as well as information on his charity. The Andrew Lewis Foundation, focuses on providing opportunities for youths who are willing to develop or nurture a passion for sailing. Lewis's site is sponsored by his main contributor, Atlantic, Angostura LLB, Blink B Mobile, Caribbean Airlines, and Sport TT. More news after the break. Stay with us. Residents of Rio Claro and environs who have applied for self-help grants have received the required assistance. This comes as the National Commission for Self-Help took its grant approval ceremony to the area to present the residents with their checks.
The National Self-Help Commission has begun meeting with residents in rural communities who have applied for self-help grants. The Commission says it intends to visit the length and breadth of the islands to award these grants to those who require it. CEO Reynald Balio Singh says, while the grant may not make a huge difference, the government of Trinidad and Tobago still would like to try to make some sort of difference.
The Self-Help Commission is here not just to distribute the grants. We are not here thinking that the value of our grants could change all of your living conditions. But we are here in order to tell you that this government cares about the people of Rio Claro, Mayaro, and has instructed us to be here this afternoon in order to establish further communication with you. Today, we are trying to bring a closer relationship between the self-help, which is in Port of Spain and San Fernando, and to people throughout rural Trinidad and Tobago.
Mr. Balya Singh suggests that if state help organizations constantly engage those who need assistance, it will go a long way in developing people and communities. However, he reminds citizens they must also play their part if they wish to see betterment in their standard of living.
We want to continue servicing you. We want to make sure that you get this grant and it becomes a catalyst in your growth and development. It becomes something that will spur you on to fix all of the infrastructure that you need. With the grant that we give you, it is only a start. We give you a start. We want you and your community to complete it. We want to make sure that the community spirit that is found in districts like this in rural Trinidad, where you could ask a neighbor to help you, where you could ask a village to help you, where we feel that when we give you the grant, which is only for material, the labor could come from within your community. And that is why I say, we give you the start, we ask your community to give you the finish.
Chairman of the Commission, Suraj Diomanguru, says the Commission has a lot planned for the people of Trinidad and Tobago who need assistance.
In total, the Commission plans to issue over 450 grants at an estimated cost of 4.5 million TT dollars, with at least 2,500 citizens benefiting.
Gregory McBurney, News 4.
Well, that's how we wrap up this edition of our News 4 Report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Nicola Barreto. Thank you for joining us.